You guys, I know why you're here. I know why you're here. You just came here so that you could see puppies. That's Charlie. And this is Baylor. Our golden doodles. They're great. Great freaking puppies. Anyways, let's talk. Chit-chat. Just for a little while. So, we're back. This would be what, day 3? Technically for me it's still day 2, but it's day 3. It's a little while later. I wanted to share another experience that I had, okay? And it's not a super insightful one or anything, it's just some brief life experience. And maybe a pointer or two. So, I am notorious for interviewing really well. And I think, you know, what might be helpful to some people is that here's a tip for interviewing, right? So you almost want to make, a lot of times people will sit you down in an interview, they're like, you know, what's your name, why are you here, you know, why should you be here, blah blah blah, right? But the question of what's your biggest strength and what's your biggest weakness, right? That's what hangs a lot of people up. And my advice, so what I do when people say, hey, you know, Nick, what's your biggest strength? Well, for me, my biggest strength is my ability to learn, right? We all know how to learn. We went to school. But it's having the ability to learn a new task and be able to perform it well, right? And that really interests employers, because you're saying my biggest strength is that I can go anywhere and learn anything, which, you know, if you try hard enough, you pretty dang sure you can learn just about anything. If you're willing to put in the work and the effort, I bet you're willing, you can learn just about anything. But when it comes to the point, because they always follow that question with, so learning's your biggest strength, what's your biggest weakness? And what I've found to be really effective is you tie in your strength into your weakness, right? So I will hook it back and I will say, okay, although it's my biggest strength is being able to learn, my biggest weakness is I am constantly wanting to learn more. I cannot stay stagnant. I have to continue to learn, otherwise I will get bored in my job. Which, let's be honest, a lot of people get to that place where they just show up and go through the motions, right? I've been there. It's miserable. You always want to be learning something new. Some of that is based on your own initiative that you have to take in order to take the next steps to learn the next thing. But a lot of it is some jobs just cap out. That's what they got, right? Anyways, the point is that when you're interviewing, you want to tie your biggest strength and your biggest weakness together. So, you know, for me, it's learning. You know, my biggest strength is my ability to learn. My biggest weakness is that I never want to stop learning. You can't have me stagnant. If you want me to come into a job and you want me to excel, you need to constantly be feeding me more responsibility and new things to learn. And hey, take on this task. I know you've never done it before, but let's try it, right? If there's a way that you can find your biggest strength about yourself and tie your biggest weakness to it, you'll be 100 steps ahead of almost everybody else that interviews for that job. It's killer. It's a good tip. And another thing that I've learned, I know, day 2 we were talking about anxiety battling, where you want to go, and today I'm talking about interviewing for some reason. But anyways, regardless of whether it makes sense why I'm making these videos and in the order that they're being made and why not, I just kind of make them as the information comes to my mind. So bear with me. The other tip I have for interviewing, right, is you can gauge how well the interview is doing based on how they word things towards the end of the interview. And I guess why interviewing is so on my mind is because my fiance is currently interviewing for other jobs because she doesn't want to be at her job anymore. So I've given her a bunch of tips and tricks. That's why it's on my mind. There we go. We cleared up why I'm jumping from paddling where you want to go to interviewing. So my other biggest tip is pay attention to the wording and the verbiage that they use towards the end of the interview, right? If future employers use a lot of wording like, you will be doing this, you will be doing that, these are your job responsibilities. These are the things that will be required of you. That means that they are visualizing you in the position and they see you there. So you could tell if they start using you will be doing this and you will be doing that. It doesn't work every time, but a lot of times that's a really good sign. It means you are probably being considered, right? So paying attention to how they're wording things, right? And the other things are like body language, right? If they're sitting up on the table like this and looking you dead in the eye, if they're interested on what's going on, you're most likely doing a good job. But if they're kicked back and like foot up on the table, right? And they're just like, yeah, and for this job, we require people to be able to blah, 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 and they're kicked back, then they're probably not all that interested in what you've got to say. And, I read a book one time. It's called 92 Ways to Communicate or something like that. And it had all these tips and tricks. And, a lot of it is reading body language and, understanding that people using the word you, they're visualizing you in the situation, right? Like a lot of salesmen use that. Salesmen use that is they'll say, oh, you're going to look great in this car. You will like it. You will like it, right? You're going to love this car, man, right? Just wait till you see how awesome this car is, right? They're using that specific terminology to try to get you to visualize yourself in that car, because as soon as you start visualizing yourself in that car a whole lot, they're that much closer to getting you in that car. Anyways, I picked up those things from that 92 Ways to Communicate, or that, and it was pretty effective. I've got more from that book that I'm gonna share in one of the next videos. It'll kind of help. I don't want to tee it up too much, but it's more communication tips on awkward moments, right? We all hate those. When you're starting to talk and all of a sudden there's nothing to talk about, you're like, shoot, I'm screwed. this isn't gonna go anywhere, right? You're just kind of both looking at each other like, all right, well, it was nice talking to you, and then you walk away. Yeah, I've got a few tips to try to help with that, and you know, more of the same. Hopefully I can dish over some more of my knowledge. I'm sure you guys hear my dogs running in and out of the office while I'm sitting here talking. I apologize for that, but hopefully I've got more information I can impart to you guys, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for sticking around. Bye.